So the next section here is an interest and the occurrences, lucky occurrences of collaborations with artists, which is really fun because artists are inherently a cool bunch, and it's nice to tag along as the designer and bring my design skills to the artist's vision in many cases, and I'm happy to play that role. Here, this is a project that I worked on with Merkel Hess for a few years called Mammut magazine. This was based out of a mutual interest in art that was based on ecological subject matter. And one issue was all about megafauna. It also gave me an opportunity to work with other designers. I did not design this cover, Andrew Zerni did. And this interest in megafauna led Matt, the co-editor, and I to approach the Natural History Museum and say, hey, we have this idea, we want to make a national or a Megafauna Awareness Day, an annual Megafauna Awareness Day. And they, surprisingly, we had this meeting with their curator who's like usually digging up fossils or looking at fossils. And they were like, okay, that seems interesting. And somehow they had a budget, or they were interested in activating they had just created a new Megafauna hall. So they were interested, and we were asked to design a megafauna map of Southern California. So again, I paired up with Matt, and then also Claude, Willey, and Deena Capparelli, two other artists. And they did the research, Deena did the illustrations, I did the designing. And it has these charming illustrations of megafauna that used to live here, and some of them still do. Sadly, not the giant sloth. Or the giant short-faced bear. And then on the inside it had a map of all kinds of megafauna-related things of the area. Where are megafauna now? What are the migration patterns? Where are fossil founds? What are some funny, quirky stories? And strangely, we showed up and we set up a table there, and families came by and they're like, here's a megafauna map, and you can go on a trip. And it was all strangely surreal, but also quite fun. This is a project I worked on with Los Angeles-based artist Lisa Ann Auerbach, who is a great artist, and I met her at CalArts actually, where she taught a knitting workshop at the time. That I took. And the project was inspired by religious tracts that are passed out on the street corner and can supposedly be bought by the pound from an actual place called Tract House. I believe it's in Highland Park. And Lisa took this idea and subverted it and asked her friends and colleagues to write rants and manifestos about any subject. And then she asked me to design them. And the first time this happened in 2008, the front left one was actually written by Gail Swan about the honeybee. And the first time this happened in Baltimore in 2008, the graphical language that I used was quite tame and mainly inspired by clip art and the kind of tameness and low-end design of religious tracts. And when she asked me to design the second edition in 2010, things got a little bit more, the design language grew a little bolder and more luscious. And this time, all the tracks were supposed to be about the subject of Charles Darwin, who was celebrating, wasn't celebrating the 200th birthday, we were celebrating his 200th birthday. And I based the visual identity on a lot of 19th century things, 19th century engravings, 19th century inspired typefaces by Hofler and Ferry Jones. And I chose a very bright and spirited color palette. And each one of these tracks, and there were 62 of them, was a unique design. Some of them were rather simple, but some of them were quite complex, and there was fold-outs and backsides and a lot of complicated or complex typography. And it was maybe, I don't know if it's the favorite project I've worked on, probably definitely one of the favorite projects, because I was just able to just play and go for it and create inventive shapes and typographic solutions for these tracks. This is one that I wrote, accusing my brain for not always functioning correctly, and it's just a whole bunch of these. Cheryl Palin, it'll do you good. And then lastly, I'm working with Fritz Haeg on his current project called Wildflowering L.A. And I met Fritz also at CalArts. He taught a radical gardening class here at CalArts, and he was actually the one who established the CalArts garden, which was so rudely bulldozed a few years ago. And this class was really influential to me. I met a lot of artists, and I found out about a lot of strategies of these using gardening as a metaphor for art. And some of the artists I met that came in to speak in this class, I ended up working with, like the LA Urban Rangers. And I also started reading Michael Pollan because it was on the reading list, and that's been a personal source of inspiration for me. Now, Fritz's project, Wildflowering L.A., aims to bring native wildflowers to urban landscapes. So there was a public call for people with access to an empty lot or an unused strip of land, and you could sign up and you were given seeds, and there was a workshop, and then you sowed the wildflowers. And what my involvement was to create a identity for the project, which mainly manifests itself in these wooden signs that are installed on every site. So we sought inspiration from the national park signage, and using that in an urban environment, we felt might be surprising, using that graphical language. Here's an early mock-up of the sign, and the final drawing for the sign makers, who are the people at Know-How Shop in Highland Park, and they were pretty great. They suggested that we use this torching method to get the dark color that we were after, and we liked that a lot. Instead of choosing a paint swatch and having to paint, we basically just oxidated the wood, and it turned to dark color naturally. Here's the prototype of a sign. Fritz is the guy with the blue hat. And then they were installed on 50 sites around Los Angeles County. And Tiffany Tran, who's here, you have one site, right? How is it doing? Where are you?
It's doing okay. It's getting eaten by gophers.
Really?
Yeah.
Is the sign still up?
Sign looks great.
Okay, good. That's all I want to know. So this is Cal Poly Pomona, this is Lancaster, and recently some photos have been coming in of the wildflowers actually sprouting, and those are really exciting to see that. It's not the best year to be doing a wildflowering project, the historic drought. So maybe the recent rains are helping to kindle even more growth.